So the Gaia Games are analogous to an Olympic Games of the original peoples, bringing together original peoples from 5 continents and providing a platform that recognizes their cultural lineages and ancestral lands and their distinct communities. Greetings, relatives. Good afternoon. Hope everybody had a lovely break and enjoying this incredible weather we're having in the mountains. I'm actually thinking of my very dear Dene uncle, Pete Sunshine Yazzie. And in thinking about him, I actually would like to just take an opportunity to recognize that we are on the traditional homelands of the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, the Ute, among many other Native American nations. And although they're not here, this is still their land, and everywhere on this continent is native land. Thank you, Chip, for your massive efforts in gathering this incredibly inspirational group. It is such a treat to be here to listen to all of these incredible projects, and I'm just really feeling super inspired. So thank you, Chip, also for this opportunity, and Shie. I would like to just recognize this young lady and your tireless work to give voice to the youth and your continued courage to really amplify Indigenous perspectives at the absolute highest levels. In all of our global democratic institutions like the United Nations, it takes a lot of courage. Even myself, I am not a frequent public speaker, so I'm a little bit nervous, so thank you, Shie, for your work. It's an honor for me to share this stage with you and with all of the other speakers that are presenting this weekend. Now, my name is Anne-Marie Miller, and I'm here to share a message of hope. So to be brief, this hope comes from an exciting project that was unveiled a few weeks ago at the United Nations General Assembly. It's called Gaia Games. And it was formally announced by my dear mentor and friend, Marcelo de Andrade, who announced the Gaia Games with the Vice Governor of Mato Grosso, Brazil. So without further ado, I would like to first actually just share this brief video showing the pilot Gaia Games that occurred in Tocantins, Brazil. And they hosted there approximately 800 athletes from over 50 communities around the world. What you just saw has the potential to become one of the largest global events in the world, bringing attention and deserved prestige to original peoples, not only in sports, but by centering their perspectives, their culture, spirituality, and voices on an unprecedented scale. Freedom of expression is a central tenet to any well-functioning democracy. And we're all gathered here this weekend to understand the challenges that we're facing in this climate catastrophe, and also the ways in which a healthy democracy may support humanity's response to this time-critical crisis. We heard from Jane Patton this morning. You're a beast. I support you all the way. And I just wanted to point out, that disconnect that you were talking about between the people making the decisions and the investments and the people that actually have to live near the infrastructure. And this is the disconnect that you were mentioning is playing out and is totally embodied in this, concept of climate justice. Also, Congressman Crow, just talking about how we're currently in this battle, which is really centering around belonging and culture. So just in the spirit of the theme of this weekend and the speakers and what they've shared already, for far too long, original people's voices have been marginalized in our global democratic institutions. And there is no better time than now when we really, really need to reunite and reconcile, to continue the work of people like Xie and really do something about it. So the Gaia Games are analogous to an Olympic Games of the original peoples, bringing together original peoples from 5 continents and providing a platform that recognizes their cultural lineages and ancestral lands and their distinct communities to provide, really basically supporting this reconciliation through sport and also promoting harmony, respect, and a celebration of life. So the inaugural Gaia Games will take place in Mato Grosso, Brazil in 2025 and will include 10 days of traditional sports competitions, cultural celebrations, as well as meetings through the Original Peoples Forum, which will be a forum that has a loose basing on the World Economic Forum. Swimming, canoe rowing, running, log races, soccer or football if you're anywhere outside of America, spear toss, archery, wrestling, weightlifting, tug of war, and other culturally unique demonstrations are just some of the sporting events that will be featured. Cultural celebrations showcasing the incredible music, dance, beauty, artistry of original peoples from around the world will infuse these games with a momentous celebration of life and diversity and friendship, honoring traditions of original peoples that have historically been prohibited and destroyed through colonial conquest. The Original Peoples Forum, which personally is, possibly the most exciting part from my perspective, will serve as a venue to provide original peoples with the unprecedented opportunity to meet, strategize, and discuss the most important matters that they are facing in their own quality of life, but also the most pressing matters that are facing humanity today. With technical assistance and guidance from Pro Natura's Shared Value Platform, which is a financial and operational model which was developed in partnership with the IFC and recognized by the World Bank as a gold star in deploying development capital to support sustainable local economies, the original peoples may also realize untapped sustainable economic opportunities to fortify their communities as well as preserve their ancestral lands. In this way, the Original Peoples Forum seeds a new era of cooperation and true hope for future generations by centering the voices of original peoples as the leading voices in charting the solutions of tomorrow. Mato Grosso is also an extremely synergistic partner to host the inaugural Gaia Games. They are the homelands of 43 distinct indigenous communities, forming a vivid tapestry of Brazilian ancestral culture. And they've also announced a commitment to achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2035. Now, this is a particularly ambitious goal, given that Mato Grosso is considered the breadbasket of breadbasket of Brazil, not America. We have another breadbasket. But anyway, breadbasket of Brazil. And if Mato Grosso were an independent state, it would actually be the 4th largest agribusiness producer in the world. Nonetheless, the government has taken on this formidable challenge to feed the world while achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2035. A keystone of Mato Grosso's strategy centers on the cultural fortification of their indigenous populations, and an increase in production and food security by incorporating technological advancements and traditional ecological knowledge while preserving the 62% of its lands that are currently untouched. I have hope that Mato Grosso is going to accomplish its goals because our ancestors have already proven that it's possible. The brilliant Dene scholar, Lila June Johnston, explains how humans became a keystone species, or a species upon which entire ecosystems depend. She explains that contrary to the myth of the primitive Indian, native peoples were not passive observers of nature, looking for a berry to eat or a deer to hunt. They were by and large active agents in shaping the land to produce prolific abundance. Lila June's research identifies numerous examples of indigenous land management techniques that have tapped into the Earth's existing systems aligned with nature and enabled cultivation methods that lasted for millennia without ever depleting the soil. Even turning deserts into gardens using human hands and minds to protect life and expand life on a holistic regional scale. It makes me wonder, what would the world look like if we centered indigenous practices and knowledge and ways of living? What if we became a part of the Earth system as we were born to be? When we understand that humanity is an expression of the Earth's beauty, we understand that we too belong, and that we have an important ecological role. The Earth needs us, and we need the perspectives of original peoples, centered and amplified in a global democracy, where the freedom of expression of native worldviews can help to not only heal the soil, but heal our collective history and pave a path forward for prolific abundance for the benefit of all life. If our ancestors proved that this is possible, then it should give us hope that we can do it again. We are all part of one human family, which is why I address you as relatives. So, my relatives, I thank you for listening, and I invite you, and I hope to see you in Mato Grosso for the inaugural Gaia Games. Thank you.